So we've had a lot of questions from faculty about the grade book and allowing students to see their final grades, final calculated grade when they want to see it. So let's go over that. Begin on your course homepage, go to grades. And depending on how you have your grade book set up, it may come into the Manage Grades view or the Enter Grades view. So I switched to Enter Grades because typically that's how folks have their grade book set up. And we can see that the final calculated grade isn't even showing for me, the instructor. So let's take a look at the settings that are going to help with that. Up on the right, there's a settings option. I'll click on that. And there are three tabs. The first tab is what you as an instructor see. And right here it says repeat the calculated final grade at the start of the users list. So I can see what their grade is without scrolling way across. That's helpful. If I want to see their username or their email along with their name, I would use one of these options. What I want to see here are the grade details, points, and if I'm using a grading scheme, I want to see the symbol and the color, or maybe just the color. We'll save it, and then we're going to go to the next tab, which is the org unit display options. Now this is what the students will see. So you need to make sure for the students to see their grades that you at least check the points grade, and if you're using a scheme, check the other two as well. The other option is to display how the final grade was calculated if you want to, but usually we leave that unchecked. We save this, and then we go on and just double check the calculation options. So I'm using a points grade book, and the grade, final grade to be released can be either the calculated or the adjusted. If you choose to use the calculated final grade for the students to see, that's fine. Or if you want the adjusted final grade to be seen. I'm going to switch this to calculated. I'm also going to say drop any ungraded items right now because the semester's not over and there's a lot of ungraded items. Once the semester's over, you may want to go back and switch this to treat ungraded items as 0. So if a student didn't turn something in, it'll be considered as 0. But for now, we'll check off drop ungraded items. And then finally, automatically keep the final grades updated. That's really important. So we'll save these settings. And it tells me I'm making changes. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll close out of here. And we're going to take a look at the enter grades. And we're going to take a look at the calculated final grade and say that we want to grade it. All right, now here, notice that I can see the calculated grade. And that's because I have made all those changes in the settings for the gradebook. The other thing that you need to do, though, to make sure the students see their grades is to make sure the checkbox under Release Calculated Final Grade is checked. So I can either have it be checked or unchecked. If it's unchecked, they won't see the final grade. If it's checked, they will. So I can use this button or checkbox, select everybody, and say release or unrelease, and now they're released. The other thing is that the calculated grade can be changed using the adjusted final grade. So we can adapt things a little bit. And that's for your final grade that you're going to submit to PRISM. So what you want the students to see right now is their calculated grade. At the end of the semester, you may release the adjusted grade because that's the one that goes to PRISM. But for right now, the calculated final grade is the one that you want to release to them. So we'll click on Save and say yes. All right, so now we know that the students should be able to see their final grade, and it's calculated here. So what I'm going to do is quickly go in and impersonate a user. And go and look at my grades as a student. And now we can see that not only are all my grade items here, but I can see my calculated final grade as well. So that's what you need to do. You need to make sure that both the settings for how your grades are calculated and what they look like under the settings option for both personal org unit and calculation options have been set. And then the other piece is that you want to go to the calculated final grade and make sure that release calculated final grade has a check mark there. And if you've done all that, then your students should be able to see their grades. If you have questions about this, let us know. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful.